Hello, my beautiful besties, and welcome to another reaction. I bring you a video today. It's a bit of an unusual one. It was chosen by Judge Beckes. It's Jackie Wilson's son. His name is Bobby, and he talks apparently about quite a few things in the music business, including his dad's friendship with Elvis Presley. Now, I love Elvis. I love Jackie Wilson, so I'm looking forward to this. Let's go check it out.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Faven K and you're tuned into LVSO Live here in Las Vegas, and today we have a great treat for you. I'm joined by the legendary entertainer, icon, songwriter, Bobby Wilson. How are you doing today?
Too much.
Never too
I'm
much.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank
you.
So, not many people may know or may not know that you are the son of another icon, 1950s legendary singer, Jackie Wilson. So tell me, how did it feel growing up around so many Motown icons?
That's the catch-22. I didn't. I grew up in a foster home.
That is so spooky, man. This guy has a spitting image of his dad. Oh my God. It's as if he was cloned. Jesus.
How did it feel growing up around so many Motown icons?
That's the catch-22. I didn't. I grew up in a foster home.
Oh.
My story is quite colorful. My mother gave me up very young. I was born in Westbury, Long Island, New York, and raised in South Carolina. Joined the Navy, and then when I got out of the Navy, that's when the music opened up, and I found out who I was.
And so, were you on the ship singing and, doing
all
that?
Yeah.
Because I have to, with that voice, you didn't just one day wake up as an adult and think, hey, I want to be a singer.
Yeah, I grew up listening to all the greats. My big sister, Ann, she was 10 years older than me, and my mom bought her the first hi-fi. Now I'm dating myself. My mom bought her the first hi-fi stereo system in the neighborhood. And now I'm really dating my hood. We had the first color TV in our neighborhood. Actually, probably was the first TV in our neighborhood. And so all the kids would come over and see, the shows. And my sister was blasting these 45s. You look very young, so I'm gonna say you don't know what a 45 is. No, you don't, do you? My sister was playing the 78s and the 45s, and then the LPs, which is long play, extended long play records. And she would blast. My mom would, as a child, I had a lot of medical problems. You wouldn't know it now, but my legs, they had to break them to straighten them out, and I had rickets in the bones. I had intestinal problems, underdeveloped intestines, undeveloped lungs. So I didn't go out and play for the first 9, 10 years of my life. I sat in the house, sitting on the sofa, listening to all the music. And my sister played everything from B.B. King to Jackie Wilson to James Brown. I heard early James Brown when James Brown was singing.
Wow.
Not when he was not in the 70s when he's doing popcorn. No, I was there when James was saying, it was you made me love you.
And you really start taking, us being a singer and an entertainer seriously, right, as a profession?
Well, only because I was hanging out with the local Hawaiians. When I got out of the Navy, I was 240 pounds. I'm now 160, but at that time, I joined the Navy 135 soaking wet. I started hanging out with the Hawaiians and Samoans because I looked like I was from the islands. And they was like, hey, brother, come hang with us, and da-da-da. So I wound up hanging out with them and singing with them, not knowing I was hanging out with Brother Ears, the Casimir brothers, Noelani. I'm just naming some of the stars that I didn't know were stars. So I was hanging out with them, and this guy, Peter Hernandez from Brooklyn, New York, walks up to me and said, hey, man, I want you to be in my show. And I was like, okay, and I went and checked it out. It was a doo-wop show in Waikiki. That was my beginning, Peter Hernandez. And 7 Guys, 7 Girls, his wife, a family show. And a little kid named Bruno, who was baby Elvis. And at the time, he was like 5 or 6 years old.
Bruno.
Yeah,
this would be
no.
Bruno Mars now, would it?
No. Yes.
Really?
And so when I joined that group, I was addicted. I mean, I knew I got to do, this is what I was meant to do. In the Navy, I was trained as an engineer. But when I got out of the Navy, actually, I was hanging around for a year because I was supposed to go work for a power company in Sumter, South Carolina. But I wound up rescinding that job and staying in Hawaii.
Wow, and it paid off.
So that was the beginning,
So how do you go from that to Jackie Wilson's my dad, and this all kind of makes a little bit more sense now. Because I like to believe that.
I'm just trying to like figure out how old this guy is because he looks incredible. He must have amazing genes, because all the things he's talking about, he must be quite, advanced in years. But he looks like he's 35 years old. So I'm a bit confused there. But a great story so far. Amazing when he said he was actually like fostered. He didn't know about his dad. Imagine that, right? And to look so much like his dad as he does and never even know about him. But I hope the story gets better. I hope he got to meet his dad before his dad passed on. Let's get some more.
The beginning,
So how do you go from that to Jackie Wilson's my dad? And this all kind of makes a little bit more sense now. Because I like to believe that a lot of times that talent is in the genes.
Well, apparently I didn't think I could sing, growing up, because people were saying shut up a lot. Shut up! So I didn't think I could sing. However, by hanging out with Pete, and Pete telling me to follow his lead, Bruno's uncle, a guy named Johnny Valentine, became my first vocal coach. And with him, and then I started adding other vocal coaches, they told me, you can sing. You have a natural ability to sing. And I have a 5-octave range. And dancing was one of my first loves that I remember because I was watching Michael so closely. I was marking him, his dance moves. I never forget, I was in the Navy, and we're getting out of a van in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, for R&R, and these kids bum rushed the van and said, "Are you Michael? You look like Michael." And I was like, I look nothing like Michael. But it was the 80s. Oh man, I'm dating myself. And the kids bum rushed, and the rest of my Navy buddies like, "Why is that happening to you?" Fast forwarding, working with little Bruno was already a star at 5. He did 2 movies with Nicolas Cage, Leaving Las Vegas and Indecent Proposal. He did a cameo in Indecent Proposal singing Can't Fall in Love.
Wow.
I Can't Fall in Love, I think that's the song, by Elvis. So he was already a little star in the islands. But that was my humble beginnings. And from there, people started shouting, you look like Jackie Wilson, you sound like Jackie Wilson. And it wasn't until I got to Atlantic City, working in Legends in Concert, the Four Tops kind of asked for my attention because I looked like their cousin. But they said it was more than the show. They basically said, well, you walk like, talk like, act like when you're off stage. They will watch me off stage. So they said, this guy's acting like Jackie 24/7. Why? So they wanted to meet me. And when I met them, I mean, they basically asked me a few questions. I confirmed, and they knew who I was. They said, "We know your dad, and we know your mother," and that was the end of it. They introduced me to the rest of the family, and I've been carrying that banter, carrying my dad's flag.
And how old were you when that happened?
Well, I like to say I was 5, but no. I was in my 30s.
Wow.
Yeah, when I found out all of that.
I understand you have some sort of a connection with another king, Elvis Presley. Is there some sort of connection there?
Well, it's more like my dad's connection. Mm-hmm. Elvis really loved my dad, and they met first time when he was with a group called Billy Ward's Dominoes, right here in Las Vegas, 1955 or 56. And my dad's playing with the Dominoes. Elvis had just started at New Frontier Casino. He was supposed to be here 8 weeks, but he got fired after 2 weeks. and so he went out and checked out the local acts while he was, hanging out in Vegas, and he went to see Domino's. He went 4 nights in a row because they were doing an Elvis Presley set. And my dad was doing Elvis.
Oh, wow.
And Elvis shouted, he does it better than me. Actually, it says, Elvis said he climbed under the table and yelled, "Get him off! Get him off!" And I was
he was too good.
Yeah, he was. So they didn't really make the connection then. It wasn't until later in the 60s when they were performing in California at the Shindig Show. And my dad was headlining at the Trip. This is a weird story for me. When he was headlining at the Trip, people weren't going to see him. He wasn't pulling the audience. And we thought that was kind of weird. Well, Elvis went to see him, and then according to some of the legends that's still living, like Little Anthony, and some of the coasters like Robert DeBonk and different people like that. I mean, Imperials and the coasters that I've talked to, they said, oh, Elvis used to call us and said, I'm going to see Jackie. Let's go see Jackie. I said, wait a minute, what do you mean Elvis used to call you? He said he would call us, say, hey man, Jackie's playing at the Trip, let's go to the Trip. And I said, wow. I said, you guys were friends? He said, Elvis loved us. And B.B. King hung around Elvis, and some of the great blues artists like Muddy Waters, and all these guys were hanging with him. And I was like, wow, how come that wasn't in the news at that time? Because it wasn't.
No.
Anyway, because of Elvis, he packed his shows.
Wow.
Because people hear Elvis going to see Jackie Wilson, they go see Jackie Wilson. After Elvis went one time, then Elvis didn't have to go anymore unless he wanted to, because they packed his show after that.
Wow.
Yeah, so they became very good friends. And then when my father got sick in '75, Elvis took care of his medical bills until he passed.
My goodness.
Even
Yeah, I have heard that story a few times about Elvis taking care of his medical bills, and also that Elvis used to go see him live, and that he was influenced very, very much by Elvis. Some people even said the way that Elvis started dressing in the '70s was Jackie Wilson's style. You know, the sideburns, the jackets, and all that. I don't know, but those two were great friends, and it was just beautiful to know that when he passed, Elvis not only took care of his medical bills, but also took care of the funeral costs as well. That's so lovely, because a lot of people, when you really, really need them in that way, they just disappear. They're only there for the good times. Elvis was a good man. Good stuff. Let's get some more.
in '75, Elvis took care of his medical bills until he passed.
My goodness.
Even after Elvis had passed. So, and that came to me from people in Elvis camp.
And so let's talk, you have this global symphony show that you're about to embark on. What would you say would be some other career highlights throughout the years for you?
First time I was on Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh. Was it nerve-wracking?
Yeah, it was. And I was just beginning to find out who I was. I've met the Four Tops. They told me they knew who I am. And I walk into the Apollo backstage. They asked me to do a couple songs by my dad for the amateur hour. And I was like, I'm not an amateur. She goes, I don't care. We want you to the amateur hour show, so no problem. What stopped me was when I walked backstage and I looked on the wall, there was a huge picture that looked like me on the wall.
Well, who was it?
My dad.
Oh, wow.
But I was at the same age he was at the same, that picture.
Okay.
My face. That was one of my highlights. That was the first time I was on a television show where I had 50 dancers. And I was doing the song Higher, and Your Love Is Lifting Me Higher. And that blew my mind because I wasn't expected. I knew we were doing an 8-week tour, but I didn't know it started off at a television show first. So we had to fly into Amsterdam, do the television show, and then start the tour.
So I hear that we're going to get a little treat from you today, possibly sing one of the songs that you'll be performing during the show.
I will give you a little a cappella taste. How's that?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Your love is lifting me higher than I ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quenching my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love, it keeps on lifting higher, higher and higher. That's enough, that's enough.
Oh, that's just enough to leave everyone wanting more, right?
It's much, much more.
Love that.
Much more.
Well, Mr. Wilson, thank you so much. Well, thanks for joining us today on LVSO Live here in Las Vegas. If you like what you see.
Okay, that was Bobby, the son of Jackie Wilson. That was like spooky. I cannot believe how much he looked like his dad. That was just incredible. I don't think he sounded like his dad, though. Well, Jackie Wilson is one of the greatest voices ever in music. The man was like ridiculous. So that's a very, 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 very hard task, just to sound like him. But he's decent, he's decent enough to make a living out of his father's legacy, and that's just beautiful. I'm sure his father is smiling down wherever he is right now. At least his lineage continues, which is fantastic. It's so spooky. I cannot get over his face out of my head. He looks so much like him. Incredible stuff. I enjoy that. Got quite a few revelations there, and it was really, really nice. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you did so, as usual, don't forget to give the video a like for me. Many thanks to you for that. Those who found me for the first time today, welcome on board. Stay cool, stay safe, stay beautiful in your hearts and soul. I'll see you all next up. Take care. Bye-bye.